Yeah. So just make sure your soil is doing well. Usually the plant can defend itself. Usually. Yeah. And okay. So next. Can we have PowerPoint? Okay, I will create a resource for everyone and then create a link on my website, because my website is going to be launched soon. So you can get all this information there as well. Yeah. So yeah, a few years ago, Woodlands Custom had stopped and confiscated veggies like cabbage, coriander, coloring. Authority has found veggies from Cameron Highlands to be of very high pesticide. Yes, so it's true. So SFA, yeah, I'm not bullshitting, because I do work with SFA a lot. I'm also involved in the Lim Chu Kang master plan, so I kind of know all these issues that always happen in Singapore as well with the local produce. Yeah. And yeah, local grown vegetables are more expensive than those imported from China and Malaysia. Why is it so? Very simply, labor land cost, very, very high. Okay. And you see most of we don't have a farming culture, right? So we don't have young people that are farmers. It's not very common because it's in Lim Chu Kang, it's smelly, it smells like cow dung or chicken shit all the time, and there is no Starbucks there for them to enjoy in the aircon. So you don't have like the next generation really wanting to be part of this. But it's changing a lot. In the Lim Chu Kang master plan, we are discussing about how to create like really interesting like workplaces in Lim Chu Kang, to encourage more participation from Singaporeans as well. Maybe build jobs in agriculture. Yeah. Was there a question? Yeah. And yeah, in Cameron Highlands, you get $1 vegetable, and then what they do is that they blow a lot of pesticide and fertilizer, and it grows really fast. In Singapore, we are doing mostly verticals now, so we're using technology to create more yield, to be able to grow more yield than before, much more. So you'll realize that a lot of the traditional farmland is being taken back by the government. A bit sad, because some of these farmers have been around for a long time, but the land is taken back already. It's all going to be most likely vertical farming, so that we are able to secure our Singapore food security a lot better. Okay. How do I? Okay, so my soil, what I do is that I do a particular mix, because I feel that it works a lot better. So I do come up with this thing called solar soil that I mix in with a lot of other things inside that helps with organic farming. Yeah. How do you change or improve your soil? Yeah, put solar soil or humus. It's awesome. Find a credible source and till it in. So how I do remediation is that I actually put in a lot of organic material first. I prepare the land. So for example, my organic garden, what I do is I chop down all the plants that I do not want. I put it on top. Then I put in organic topsoil, spray on the probiotic fertilizer, and cover it and wait. I let the microbes do their work. And then after a couple of weeks, when things start breaking down, then I start planting. Do not plant until you ready the soil. It's just like a farmer, right? They have to ready their land, they have to till their land, put in the fertilizer before they start to plant. You don't plant until you get your soil right. Yeah. Do you recommend watering using water from rinsing rice? Okay. I in my experience, no. I feel it creates like a bacterial problem, because there's like I've not had a good experience with it. My dad was using it, and after a while I had a lot of problems, like it started having this sourish smell and other problems that happen. So it's going to create like a different kind of bacteria that comes into the thing, because it's actually food, you see. So I really suggest just good topsoil, good fertilizer, and to remediate your existing soils. I think that's good enough. Yeah. Okay, currently solar soil is not out in the market yet, because I just created this thing. So and I realized, and the reason why this thing even came about was I had friends and family, church friends asking, hey, I need to remediate my garden. It looks horrible, and no matter what I grow, my banana trees are no longer producing, my papayas are no longer producing. So I started helping people do up their gardens, right? And it became successful. So I started this program, and as I was experimenting along the way, I realized what works and what doesn't work, and then I came up with this solar soil and this garden rescue. Yeah. So yeah, the website will be launched pretty soon. So yeah, it will be available. Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Since solar soil is not in the market yet. For people, we stay in the flat. We don't have the ground to make our own humus and can't build our own topsoil. What can we do?
No.
Can we put the liquid humus, like we gather all the vegetable, like the skin of the fruits and all this, I boil them, into a liquid and I use it as a fertilizer.
I don't know about cooking it. If you are doing from a home, okay, if you want really something good, I do promote vermicullar composting, but not everyone likes to handle worm.
What to do?
That is a totally other lesson.
Another section.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like using worms to eat up your raw vegetables.
Yeah.
And
you need a big place. You do need a big place.
Not really, just a small little box.
A can.
Yeah, just a small little box. My son is coming out with the program. It's called I'm calling him Worm Boy. So he's creating these worm boxes where you put your vegetables inside and the worms start eating, and after that you take the stuff that they poop out and you put in your vegetables. But I do advise to put in the solar soil first. You need the humus inside. It really helps a lot. Yeah. And also it will help to encourage the worms to grow inside the soil.
You don't even know how to build the solar soil.
No, I have the solar soil. So we have a community composting program that I'm working with Bishan and Geylang Serai. So what we do is we take all the waste, we put it into their community compost, really huge mound. And after that, we are able to retail the soil that they produce. So it's a circular economy. You see, we take all the waste, we get the community to be part of it, and after that, the rest of the community that do not have access to this can use this for their growing. Yeah, so it becomes a circular economy. So this is an initiative that will happen in the next few months. But currently, I do have the soil, so we do take it in from Australia, Indonesia. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. What spray do you use and where can we buy? Yeah, it'll be out. Where you can buy will be out by this week. Yeah, and I'll let you guys know of the links that you all can see. Wait, what's the advice for growing healthy basil and herbs in general? Same thing. I just use a good amount of good draining coarse sand so that it drains really fast. The humus holds the nutrients very well, really, really well. So in order to hold nutrients is what we call CEC, is cation exchange. So because there are positive and negative ions, right? And that's how the plant actually exchanges the nutrients from the soil. And humus has really good CEC and it can hold on. So if you have in Singapore soil, right, what happens is that when it rains, it goes down into the ground and it exits sideways, right? It flushes all the good nutrients away. So you realize, right, in your landscaping, I don't know if some of you guys are landscapers here, but you will realize the landscape people will always have to throw fertilizer at the plants just to keep it alive. Okay, it's just alive only. You will never see, unless it's a really good landscaping company, you will never see the plants after 10 years look nice. The landscape all looks very sad around your condo or anywhere else. Yeah, because the cheapest way is chemical fertilizer. Yeah, but if you put in some effort, like you mulch, you have like a little machine that crushes all the branches and everything, throw it back into the ground. Why do you throw it into the rubbish bin and throw it away at the incinerator? You should be putting it back into the ground. So I don't waste any organic material. Everything is crushed up and put back into the ground. The leaves are all put back onto the top of the soil cover. It keeps the soil nice, soft and wet. Moist. It's moist. It's not dry. So you realize some of your pots, right, if you leave it out and there's no organic material on top, you realize it becomes like a cake, like a block, like a rock. It's so hard. How is the plant going to survive? It's very difficult for it to survive. A good soil is very soft, moist and loamy, and it smells really nice. It smells like earth. Yeah. So like I said, it has antibiotic properties. It can filter water. So you realize in the mountains when it rains or snow, the water that comes out is like beautiful water that you drink, like Evian apparently. Yeah. Okay, so maybe you can go back to it. Can we prepare soil for vegetable planting? What materials to use? Okay, so what I will do is I'll put in like either solar soil or some kind of humus, and I would mulch. Whatever organic material I can find, I put it into the soil. I never waste any organic material. So, but don't put in like your meats and your cooked food, because it naturally will invite pests like rats that will come. So you don't want like cooked food lying around. This will create another problem. So best is to bury it so that the pests don't get to it. Yeah. And then after that, usually I spray probiotics fertilizer, and I wait 2 weeks, and then I start planting. And then you see these tomatoes. This tomato plant that you see right here is right now almost 5 feet tall. Okay, cherry tomatoes. I'm 6 feet. Okay, so it's just about here. And this tomato plant is about 1.5 months old. And you look at the amount of tomatoes, it's popping out so many. Yeah. So I don't want to tell you guys that I'm an experienced farmer, because I'm also trying out a lot of new things. I do not know how to grow every single crop that is out there. But so far, following the basics that I understand about soil, it has proven to be really successful so far. Yeah, it's a lot easier than putting in eggshells and everything. I don't put eggshells, I don't put coffee grounds and all that. Usually all this is thrown into the compost pile. Okay, so another fun fact, right? So calcium is a pretty big molecule. It's not easy for the plants to take in calcium through the root scheme. So in order to do that, it requires microbes to signal the plant to take in calcium. Okay, so there's a signaling requirement. And if you throw in an eggshell, it doesn't break down just like that. It needs certain kind of acids, maybe like within the humus, to break it down. So if it's not available, it will not break down properly. Yeah, for the plant to absorb it. Yeah. So it still needs to be water soluble, then the plants can take it in. Yeah. So topsoil is actually what we call the stuff that's on the. So someone is asking me what's the difference between humus, topsoil, and solar soil. So humus is actually completed compost. That means it has already composted finished. The microbes have finished their work, and it becomes this dark, loamy. It looks a bit like miso. Okay, like your miso. Okay, it's this brown black miso thing, right? It smells really nice. It doesn't stink. Smells like earth. Topsoil is just what's on top. With all the other like organic material as well. So what I do is solar soil is, I do a mix with compost as well as humus, so that it's a more fluffier product. Yeah, because sometimes I do not know what source you put it in, right? So I need to make sure there's additional organic material to help in recharging the source that you have. Yeah. Okay, do nurseries sell real topsoil and humus? I don't think so. I've not really come across anyone that has sold real topsoil yet. I heard that some topsoils are smuggled from some experts in soil in Singapore, from Indonesia, and yeah, it's really by luck if you're able to find that topsoil. But if they just label it topsoil, it looks like compost, right? It's not topsoil or humus. Yeah, just make sure it writes there that there's humic acid inside. Yeah, humic acid is really important. Okay, will you conduct workshops? Missed the first part of the talk. Yeah, occasionally I do this once in a while. When I'm not busy in the gardens. So yeah, just leave I'll leave my contact number here. Okay, so you all can add me in, and then anything, just drop me a call. Ask me any questions. You got any problems with your garden? Usually there's a simple way to solve it. No need to be too complicated. Yeah, there's a simple way to solve it. And it's usually starting from the soil. And if there's a workshop, I'll let you guys know, and then you just join in. Yeah, because usually I do the workshops for the resident networks. So if some of you are living in HDB, you got your resident networks, right? So one tip is, if you want land to garden, go to your resident network and form, call like-minded residents who are doing gardening. If you have about 10 people, then your resident network will start to mobilize to help you find a little plot where you can start growing stuff. Okay, yeah. And then you can contact me and I can help you design your gardens. So that's what I usually do for the resident networks. Yeah. Yeah. And those who are in landed property, you can also, I think if I'm not wrong, you can kind of like be part of it to some extent as well. Shouldn't be a problem. Yeah. because resident networks are for the whole area. It's not just for HDB, I'm sure. Yeah, it's for everyone, right? Yeah. So anyone around in the area, they can be part of it. Yeah. Okay. What is compost tea? So compost tea is basically maybe you can actually there are a lot of YouTube videos about compost tea. You know, some people use vermicular compost like the worm castings to make compost tea. So what they do is that they put in their vermicular composting, they put in a oxygenation bubble, then they will put in some molasters, or maybe if you don't have, you can put in brown sugar. What it does is that it feeds microbes to start them becoming supercharged, right? So you put in some sugars, they start eating the microbes, they become supercharged, there's more microbes inside. Then you dilute it and pour into and sprinkle on your garden beds. So yeah, you can do that on your own, but you need to start growing some worms. Yeah. Some people don't use worms, they use other things like compost. You can do that too. But many people have many methods. It's quite a fun project to do at home. Yeah. I don't do soldier fly larvae. You can research in Singapore at Edibles Garden. They do have a farm there for soldier flies. What they do is that they use soybean waste to make soldier flies. Yeah. They do eat a lot of organic material, and yeah, quite interesting. Pretty fun if you don't mind playing around with worms. How to join? Annie, are you living in Bishan? Because she's asking if I can join Bishan.
Yeah, I don't live in Bishan. I live in Upper Thomson, but it's very near Bishan.
I think resident networks are always open for volunteers. So yeah, just leave your contact with me. You know, drop me a message and say who you are and what you're interested in on my WhatsApp, and then I'll contact you as soon as the opportunity arises. Yeah. But I'm also looking to take on, because we are doing social enterprise, right? So part of it will be educating a lot of people about what we do, and also I help churches and elderly to grow food so that we can give to them also. So yeah, all these can come in play. You know, we can work together. You know, have volunteers. You can learn how we do things also. It's pretty fun. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'll contact you.
No problem. Yeah. Next is, why is soil hard? Hard is because you got no organic material. Yeah, not enough. Loosen it. Add in more organic material, and then you will start to see it turn soft. Yeah, very amazingly, if you put solar soil into your ground, it will start to become very soft. Yeah, the humic acids will slowly change it into something a lot more softer.
Yeah. Sorry, since you're on solar soil, can I ask another question? Last time you say you put humus and topsoil. What is the proportion?
No, I put humus and other organic materials. So even
ratio. What is the ratio?
Ratio, okay. It is
1-to-1. No.
It doesn't work that way. It's a very complex process. That's why it's a little bit hard for me to answer the question right now, because we do it we do it in a compost pile. You know what I mean? So we do everything in a compost pile. So there is no specific ratio, because I don't always get the same thing all the time.
I see.
So but what will happen is that if you put in the right amount of organic material, we use photosynthetic bacteria. So it's very different from aerobic composting. So your usual way of composting that everybody knows is aerobic composting. It requires oxygen. Okay, that's why you need to till it. It becomes really hot. It takes in oxygen, releases carbon dioxide. We use anaerobic fermentation. Is different. So anaerobic takes photosynthetic bacteria takes in carbon dioxide, releases oxygen.
Yeah.
It's a totally different process. Yeah.
The other way. Yes.
Yeah. So it actually captures carbon into the pile. Yeah. It actually captures carbon. So the process is totally different. There's a lot of science behind it, you see. So that's why it's a bit hard to really tell you what's the proportion right now and make you understand.
It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah. Thank
you. Next is, why tomato plants grow to about 1.5 meters with many flowers but no fruits? Yeah, so almost the same size as mine. I think it's the nutrition issue. Yeah, and make sure you water it enough. Yeah. Usually fruiting plants, they require quite a bit of water, and it has to be good draining soil. make sure the roots are not flooded with water. Very important. If the soil is always super wet, there will be root rot, and when root rot happens, nothing good comes out of it. Yeah. It's just watering too much. Yeah. Where can you get pink lady fingers? Oh, I don't have pink lady fingers. But when I find out, I'll let you know. Because I'm doing this other program called Plant Rescue, where because a lot of people have not very successful planting, so I adopt it, I make it grow nice again, and what I expect is to be able to get cuttings out of it to share with other people, or seeds when I'm able to seed them. Yeah. Okay, let me find out more about this pink lady finger. It's making me interested as well. Yeah. Oh, and there's one more thing about organizing a trip to visit the veggie garden. Yeah, sure. When we don't have such big COVID issues, yeah, welcome. Or maybe a couple of you can just contact me and come over. There's Bishan as well and Geylang Serai that you can visit. I would say, you know, one of the more interesting community gardens would be Geylang Serai. They have a stretch of community gardens, like all fenced up, one by one, plot by plot, by different gardeners, almost 1 kilometer long. So 1 kilometer long, and some are really experienced, some are not. But the experienced ones are growing very interesting things. So that's one community garden that I could maybe find an opportunity for you guys to visit as well, because we got a lot of very experienced gardeners there, very fun to work with. Yeah. Okay.
Which part of Bishan are you at?
Zone 1.
Oh, Zone 1.
Yeah, you just do on Google Map, right? Bishan Zone 1. I think you'll pop up. Yeah.
Oh, the one next to the basketball court.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, I'm looking at it right now. There's a lot of aeroponic plants at the top. That's 112, right?
Yeah, 112. Wait, it's out of your window?
Yes, out of my window.
Nice. Yeah. You know, when I'm going out, maybe I can drop a message and then you can come.
Sure, I'll text you. You're very near.
Yeah, because I'm there almost every week, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Working with RN.
Ruan is a very good job, because I send my granddaughters to berries at Block 116. That's
Nice.
how we discovered your and we were so fascinated by your work. Really.
Yeah.
Good job. Yeah.
Thank you. I think in front of the basketball court, there's a big plot of land, and
Yes.
we are hoping to do the soil there, and then we will build gardens there as well, for vegetables for the old folks home as well as the residents around there.
Yeah.
So they have a very proactive gardening group. So it's very awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
They really help. Yeah. Very awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if any one of you have any questions like, hey, why my plant's not growing, just send me a picture of a plant, and then I can help you like change things around a little bit. Yeah. Sometimes a minor adjustment can do like really amazing things to the plant as well. Yeah, plants are really not difficult to grow. They just need enough sunlight, water, and nutrition, and a good soil base. Once you set your soil base, everything else is a lot faster, a lot easier. Yeah.
So far, you have been talking about mostly those community garden with the HDB, yeah?
Recording stopped.
It started any condominium project?
Not so much condos yet.
No,